with this ghost and nakedness or this director, and the next time he's given a script with this kind of character, I need him to immediately stand up and start fighting the person that gave him that script. Hi, today we're reviewing Casa De Novia, a 2024 comedy streaming on Prime Video. Casa De Novia is the latest offering out of Anthill Studios. This movie is written by Taye Arimoro and Anee icha and directed by Uyoyo Adia. For a synopsis, it says, Yoyo finds a perfect, affordable mansion to solve her traffic problem, but it comes with a haunting twist, the ghost of Efosa, a businessman tied to the Novia empire. Their unusual friendship leads to a world of mystery, love, rivalry, and murder. Okay, let's talk about this movie. What did I feel coming in? The first thing I thought was, if there's one statement that summarizes this movie, it would be, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. This statement covers both the film and the filmmaking. Now, this movie is a bit reminiscent of Banana Island Ghost. I'm sure a lot of you must have seen it back when. I think they've taken it off Netflix now. And I've talked about this movie before when I was talking about Breath of Life. Yes, by the same director. So this movie and Banana Island, they have similar themes of dead men refusing to stay dead, plus size women looking for love in all the wrong places. There's a house and there's a ghost. A house in contention and a ghost. Now, whenever I see Nollywood take comedy, I'm a little skeptical. However, shortly after this movie began, I loosened up and realized, wait, I am going to enjoy this movie. Bloody hell! That's how I felt. Like, this movie actually is funny. And then at some point, I was like, did I speak too soon? So stick around and find out if indeed I spoke too soon. Guys, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Thank you so much for your continued patronage. Now, let me just apologize in advance for the limited editing on this video. I know what I have on my plate. These movies are still being spewed out by the minute and I'm trying to keep up. The editing takes a lot of hours. If I were to put together all the hours it took from start to finish, and from start research, watching, the scripting, everything, the prep for filming even, and then, you know, the editing and all the other things, the filming, the clips to put. So just, I'm saying that to say that normally you expect to see like a lot of accompanying clips in my reviews, not this time. So I just need to get through this period when Prime Video especially is throwing everything at us. Let's get straight to it, ladies and gentlemen. What worked? This movie had a solid cast. Anee Icha in the character of Yoyo. This is the protagonist of this movie. Whoosh. Guys, Annie is such a physical actor and it was so evident in this movie. She gave herself so completely to this role. She was so charismatic and she's just naturally humorous, because the kind of humor that this movie required, the brand of funny, is not something you read off a script. It's not something you put on. It has to be you. So she was just hilarious. It has really, really great comedic timing. She bodied this role. The first thing I noticed and just adored was how absolutely unself-conscious she was in her body. Like, just super comfortable, self-assured, and no evidence of self-consciousness. She might not be conscious of but I was, okay, we was. So Annie is so silly, and by this I mean I'm going to say Annie and Yoyo, such a fusion of the actor and the character in this role, right? So Annie, Yoyo, whoever, is so silly and just so likable, as in this character now really, really likable. This is the role that Annie has been fixing for a really long time. So I love this. It's such a career defining role for her. She played it just so perfectly. It also doesn't hurt that Annie's sister Zoza is also one of my very good friends. You guys might know Zoza, or at least you would know her brand Asabara. That's the shop in Abuja, the business, that the arts store that makes handcrafted arts. She's just so talented. And then here's Annie, also super talented, both incredibly beautiful women. And this is for the rest of the family, by the way. You need to see all their sisters. They're so beautiful. They're also talented. Let me just stop talking about Annie, but her performance was spectacular in this movie. And then let's get to the next person, who is Taye Arimoro. He played the role of Efosa, Alex Igbinovia, but he also played his twin Esosa. This was very very good, I could say dynamic acting, like being able to play these different roles. The beard was terrible. The haircut, I don't know if that was supposed to be a family hairstyle, because both of them having that shape of head and that hairstyle was so funny. But I'm saying both of them, this is one person. I guess the beard was to distinguish the characters, but whatever, I would say he did really good. Next up is Lilian Esoro as Ezine Okoli. She was really great as well in this role. Whatever little part she had to contribute, she did excellent. And also, she's super easy on the eyes. I love her. She's so beautiful. So she was perfect as well. Eso DK as Olufemi Adewale, he reprised his role in Life or something like that. It's a movie by the same director, and he seemed like the same person in this movie as his character in Life. So I don't know. He's a good actor, but it just felt like I was watching his character from Life. Lizzie J, she reprised her role from Instagram, wherever you see her, Facebook, YouTube, wherever, and all the other movies she has appeared in. She brought all those roles together and was them here. Specifically also her character in Adire. So I don't know. I'm tired of Instagram skit makers. When you see them once, you've seen them 100 times, I guess. But that said, I did like the character for this story because it was a nice contrast between Yo-Yo and Tawa as friends. One completely scatterbrained and just insane, and the other a bit more level-headed, even if she couldn't seem to put her thoughts together. Then Efeerele, I like this actress. She's absolutely beautiful. She's gorgeous, but I'm starting to doubt her range, and I don't know if that's because of the kinds of roles that she's getting. She needs a role that challenges her, but so far she seems to be a one-key actor. I've watched her now. She was very novel to me when I watched House of Secrets, but at this point, I don't know about her prowess. Here, I guess she was just what she needed to be for this character. Tokwe Tedela as Anthill. It's not very long ago that we reviewed him in Cake, and the same issues, one note I had for him there is the same. Listen, Tokwe Tedela, for Till I Die, I'm going to tell you that he's a fantastic actor. However, the next time he's given a script with this kind of character, I need him to immediately stand up and start fighting the person that gave him that script. That's what I need from Tokwe. Okay, like, I'm tired. All right, let's get to the rest of it. I thought that the opening was fantastic. It was great character intro. The first time we saw Yo-Yo, I just knew that this was one unhinged person, and that character stayed consistent. There was nothing that she did that felt out of turn, that looked like it came out of nowhere, and that's because her character was established very early on and it was true throughout. Somebody who just makes a series of terrible decisions, but everything that she did just really felt true to her character. And so again, good character development as far as Yo-Yo. I can't say the same across the board. There were great locations, especially, you know, that main set, the haunted house. Speaking of haunted houses, look, do you like my art? All of it, I think the themes are pretty much a bit of haunted vibe, especially that one. I painted it in December, that one. And then of course we have a bit of nakedness here for obvious reasons, because this movie also had nakedness as a character. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is the themes that this movie touched on, and just in a really light-handed way. Some of the themes that were covered were the themes of greed. There was such a humorous take on Nigerian brand of spirituality and the irony there, the obnoxiousness and risks of dating apps, the problems of house hunting in Nigeria, especially as a single woman. So I loved how relevant and just current the issues that were raised were. The script as a whole, I have thoughts, but the premise was solid. Now, there was quite good use of humor here. I watched this movie for the first 35 minutes. I was really laughing my head off. I appreciated just even in some dialogue that came out of nowhere, but was really like so funny. So there was just humor, some obvious, some latent, and at times just like really random humor. For instance, in that scene when the ghost first made itself known, when she brought that guy home, and her seeking refuge with the guy when she was under attack, but this is a guy who was just attacking her. I really laughed, but also it made me think of a tweet I saw a while back where somebody said straight women have to sleep with their only natural predator. Now, I don't know whether that's true or not, because I mean, what are you saying about men? But anyway, that just made me think about that, and it was funny. Unfortunately though, all this humor was reserved for the first 30-35 minutes or so, after which I barely cracked a smile for the rest of the movie, which was such a shame. So many things were done right in the beginning of the movie, and it was as though, having lulled us into a certain state, they now decided to just, but we'll get there. Some of the VFX was also enjoyable, if not very well done, but at least funny, and I'm very heavy on the sum here. Have I mentioned that Lilian Esoro is an absolutely stunning woman? woman? I hope I have. I was low-key hoping that she was the Melina character or whatever. Beautiful editing in the beginning. I think I might have said that the editing in the beginning was very like well done, and then everything again just kind of went to hell. Final thing in the what worked section was that song that she kept singing. All the girls wanna see me jiggle, all the boys wanna see me wiggle. I loved it. It had I mean, first of all, it was super body positive, which I don't really care about, but it also has like great earworm potential. Like if you listen to that song quite a bit, you'll find it playing throughout the day in your brain. All right, let's get to what did not work, because this movie, for all the things that I've said that worked, there was just so much more that just did not work. I enjoyed this movie up to the 35-minute mark, and then it all went to hell. As with many of these glitzy kinds of movies, it appears to make sense on the surface, but then the moment you start unpacking it, actually this movie did not need much unpacking. It just was in a handbasket straight to hell just after the 35-minute mark. So here are some things that before that 35-minute mark point already did not work. The CGI was funny, let's be real. It was funny. When you're seeing VFX and all you can think of, yeah, you guys tried, but it's funny. I don't think that that's what the point is, but okay. There were issues with production design. I mean, we had a whole bathroom with the shower and whatever tub that somebody was either about to or already taking a shower, I don't know, but no fixtures, no plumbing in. Crazy. As far as the story, I wish we had seen more tries before she found this place. It would have been fun, you know, and also to further underscore her desperation, so that when she finally landed on this place, the way she grabbed that, you would be in there with her, like, yeah, you know, because man, house hunting in Lagos is ass. There's a question there of why a house like this would the owners opt to rent and not sell. Although the movie didn't offer any explanations, I'm not going to dwell on that too much, because I think there's an underlying general theme of silliness here, whether of the character or of the movie itself. Now, another feeling I had was that this movie peaked too quickly, and at some point it felt like beyond this point is going to be silliness, because where do you go past this? Where do you go from here? I hate to say that I was not wrong. How did this ghost become a ghost? I wish there had been some mysticism there at the time of his death. Even when they did the replay and showed about whatever happened at the point when he died, I wish, you know, we had seen something more mystical about, because I mean, you're doing something supernatural. Why don't you give us a bit more supernatural than a ghost with what looks like hazy smoke? It would have been nice, you know. And I just wish I knew what happened, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who die and their bodies are not found, but they don't run around causing trouble and causing problems for hapless young women. At first, not knowing that he was a ghost was a bit of a weird take, and then shortly after he's informed that he's a ghost, he just suddenly is with the program. That's just crazy to me. That made no sense. I didn't like that weird ghostly lighting, but I'm not going to make a big case about that. Now, as with the movie Life, again by the same director, it'll always be weird to me how characters just take supernatural experiences of other people at face value, just believe them without any real proof. Not so much proof as say something truly convincing, you know what I mean, but they never even go to the trouble. The directing, again, also was not great. The camera angles were just all wrong. The framing was wrong. The blocking was intensely bad. I'm so sorry. And again, this director, this is not a new note at all. The score wasn't great, and even worse, it was working against the comedy. When it's supposed to be a comedic, there's supposed to be a certain sound that would go with that. Instead, it would be something completely different that would change the tone of the scene entirely. This movie just had a feeling of like a school project, different people coming in with their different whatever it is. This movie was just not well done. Up until this point, which is this 35-minute mark I mentioned, even with all these problems, right, at least the story was still enjoyable, but then it started to unravel. This movie didn't seem to know what to do with the comedy, and then like I said, after that 35-minute mark, I didn't even crack a smile at all. So it's like it just abandoned the comedy altogether. But this movie was not made for emotional currency, and so it did not know how to evoke it once the easy humor was past. There were so many questions, and up until the end, it just ended with even more questions. The ending particularly was just hiatus. It was just rockers. It was chaos. It was insane. Now, this ghost, or is it the director? There's somebody on that set that had a real obsession with nudity. We had a naked ghost. He died fully clothed, but okay. okay, I've never been dead before. I don't know if you take off your clothes or something when you're trying to cross. And then that guy that Yo-Yo brought home that first night, he sent him running out with almost bare butt. And then when Femi, her colleague, was thrown out of the house, he was also in the process of being stripped. So he was thrown out in his underwear. I'm like, what is with this ghost and nakedness, or this director and nakedness? However, when we did need a character to be nude, which was Yo-Yo in the shower, there they were with a whole towel. And unless you're going to tell me that people start singing before they even start taking a shower and dancing, but again, there was no plumbing there, so a shower was never going to happen, even if there was the sound of running water. But speaking of nakedness and weird shit, I want you to look at this scene. Understand that that woman is his mom. Understand that that man standing in front of her is fully naked. According to the movies, fully naked, right? What is going on here? Like, why are they framed like that and like shrouded in darkness on the fringes and then romantic lighting? What is going on here? I just could not with this scene, the music choice, all of it. And then when he said to his mom, Melina, that's the woman he was going to marry, Melina reminds me so much of you. That's in the context of this setting. I was like, I get it. This is some extra Freudian shit going on here. These people kept talking about investigative journalism, but there was no journalism in sight, okay? There was no investigation going on here, but let's roll with it. The exposition at the end about how Efosa was killed was just wild, and the more they spoke, the less it made any sense. I don't know how the ghost did not know who killed him, even if he could only observe what happened in the aftermath when he had come out of his body. I don't know. When he was telling the brother, you killed me, what would have been more apt is if he was saying, you trapped me here. It's because of you that I've been trapped here. But how can he know he was trapped when he didn't even know he was a ghost? So that whole storyline was weird. And then as far as the big twist that it was actually this woman he has been pining over, the fiance who killed him, I was confused because at first, because of the way it was structured, it looked as though she met him after the abortion and all that stuff with her sister had happened. If it was that, my critic was going to be, why do you need to date the person that killed your sister? Because if you're dating to the point that he's about to propose to you, which means you've been dating him for quite some time, and so you're fucking him, right? Because are you really fucking the person that killed your sister? But that criticism would be moot if it's the second option, which is, was she the one dating him and then the sister slept with that's her sister's boyfriend without him knowing that that was her sister? And by the way, she blamed him for killing the sister, but she's the one who actually killed the sister for forcing her to go have an abortion. So it's just crazy to me, but the whole of these issues actually arise from the structuring, right? The way that gallery scene, which that whole scene, the way it was structured as though they met after the sister had died. So you know what, let me just leave that part because this is what I mean when I said that this was so confusing. So if you have clarity on that, you let me know. Also, she confessed to murder and nothing. I wasn't even sure why Esosa was arrested, because it looked like the whole big breaking news was that, were they only saying that he hid his brother's body, or was it that they think he killed his brother? Oh gosh, I don't know. Then the love story between Yo-Yo and Anthill, that was just annoying. Like I said, please stop acting these roles, I'm begging you. The love triangle, it wasn't set up at all between Anthill, Yo-Yo and Femi. And then at the end, when she asked us, the audience, I'm sure you're wondering what happened between us. Actually, the answer is no. Absolutely nobody wants to know if you got together or not. Nobody. So ultimately, this plot had more holes than my kitchen sieve, okay? Like, it was just, but they didn't care. So as a final note here in the what did not work section, I'm just going to say that you guys need to stop making caricature of white garment churches. Your churches are no better or worse or different or anything. It's just different ways of worship or whatever. But don't be carrying your shoulders thinking that your church, whatever it is better. It's not. Because it's like every time we see a white garment church, is to be made a mockery of, to be made a caricature of. It's not funny. I'm sure the people who go to those churches believe as strongly in what they believe in as much as because you believe in what you believe in. Everybody should just hold their side, answer their father's name, and be respectful. In conclusion, this movie ended up being boring, okay? Like, as much as I laughed in the first 30, maybe if that's why it could have been a short movie and then I would have enjoyed it through and through, but they needed to then draw it out for another hour or so. Sorry, for this movie was like 2 hours in total or something. It was so not necessary. Anee Icha alone cannot save a movie. No one actor can. The acting was spectacular by her, but beyond that, there was not very much to recommend about this movie. I've always said that, I mean, it's not me who said it, but we all know that every aspect of production should be working in service of story. In this case, it was flipped all the way around. Now we've come to know that Anthill made this movie, Anthill Studios made this movie in order to advertise their special effects and their their prowess at set building. And so they decided that this was what they really wanted to do, and then they wrapped a story around that. Now, it's fine to have this kind of intention. It's okay. But could you at least, like, if you're going to make a movie, just really make a movie. It doesn't matter what your intention was, just make a fucking good movie. So I don't know, they wasted my time because they wanted to showcase their newly acquired skills. I don't know, that's not a reason for me to watch a movie. And so, unfortunately, it also failed in 2 out of the 3 things he wanted to showcase. What did they want to showcase? Anee Icha's acting, 10 out of 10. Set building, shower with no plumbing, special effects, really. So, yeah, no, but thank God for Annie. Otherwise, this movie would have just been complete. I don't know. But hey, the Ghost had VAR, you know, so that's something, you know. They were able to give us a replay. This movie was too long for a movie that didn't have very much to say, and it just felt like somehow a bunch of skits that didn't quite come together or hold together. In Nollywood, we like to talk about the difficulty of making film, and it's true. But do you know that many of the problems that end up happening in our movies, it's not because of difficulty of making film. It's usually about just carelessness, because difficulty of making film does not account for bad plots. I mean, beyond the extent that you could say, oh, you can't pay for a story development, which is a big thing, make no mistake, but still, forgetting to have fixtures in a bathroom, this is not budget. Sighting a camera in the mirror, green screen reflecting off of other reflective objects, this is not budget. Making a funny looking lizard that looks like it came straight out of Middle Earth and landed in this our story, that's not budget. You know, in fact, if anything, it's quite the opposite, right? That's not budget, because it's not that I don't have any problem with the lizard in itself looking like it's not a species we have in Nigeria. It's just it didn't fit in the movie. I don't know what it was doing there, why that apparition happened in the first place. So it's okay to make a calling card, you know, like, but share it to your target customers. Don't share it to the wider audience and expect us to be okay with your explanation for why you made the movie. And so I neither recommend or do not recommend this movie. I'm kind of ambivalent about it. I don't care. Annie deserves your time. So I would say watch this movie for Anee Icha. She put her spirit in this. I think she deserved a better film. But don't watch it for comprehensive filmmaking or sensible storytelling. Maybe a few chuckles here and there, but don't be upset if you end up not really caring, because I can guarantee you that the filmmakers themselves, apart from these things that they've stated that was their points of interest in general, they did not care. So there's no reason why you should. So that's it for Casa De Novia, House of Novia, House of Igbinovia. It's going to be a short version of this review linked below. So please, you can share that to, I like to say this at the end when you've already sat through this. You can share that with your people who don't like long videos. And what do I tell you? You have the right to an incredible viewing experience. So never settle. Let me go get myself some breakfast. It's 6:46, so that's 6:45, and I haven't eaten anything today. I'm not even fasting or trying. I just had to get this video out, and now I'm off to film another video before I can even relax for the evening. Don't say I do nothing for you guys. Bye bye.